Hi. Before I get going, I want to ask you a question. Does anyone know who I am? Okay, good. So, if I make a complete fool of myself, it's not going to matter. No, seriously. If you did know me, you would know me as this crazy guy who likes to make videos while he drives. And it's true. Most of my videos, I have about 100 of them, are all with me driving. Now, I've had people come to me and say, well, isn't that dangerous? Yeah, it is, actually. But I'm not looking at the camera, if you notice, for the most part. I hold it pretty much at a 90-degree angle, resting on the bed rest, or whatever, the armrest. And, it's an iPhone, so the camera's on the back, so I'm just staring at the back of the iPhone. So all I'm doing is really talking and holding up the camera. So, I guess it's not something I recommend unless you have some good gaming skills. And, I have 20 years of online gaming, so I think I can do this. My talk today is, and now the good news, we can educate India. As Socrates would first say, the first thing we need to do is define terms. And the term that obviously needs to be defined, or is going to be defined, whether we like it or not, is the term teacher. Because we seem to have a view in the 20th century of a teacher being a human person. And in reality, with simulations and all the gaming technology and all the advances in technology and solutions and stuff, a teacher is evolving. And in reality, over the next 5-10 years, the teachers we know them is going to become obsolete. Now, the teacher itself will not become obsolete, but the teachers we know them. Now, what does that mean? It means that the mundane aspect of teaching is going to be replaced with technology by code. And if you don't believe me, what I recommend you do is, and here it is right here, I'm going to show you a little clip. This is Lion's Head Milo. Now, I want you to ask yourself, what's Milo going to be doing 5 years, 10 years from now? What is his offspring going to do? Because, as you can see, Milo does a pretty good job interacting. Now, in reality, this technology is far more advanced than what we need to flatten global education, and we need in many respects, a very rudimentary Milo. But the fact that we have Milo, pretty much says, well, we have what I need. The second thing that we need to really think about is, what is education? Because, education is pretty much a post-industrial what I want to say is a post-industrial education was defined by the post-industrial revolution. In particular, Sputnik defined a lot of U.S. education and the emphasis and the way that we do education, and really it hasn't changed much in the last 50 years, except for the new Education 2.0, which is now trying to mash this post-industrial education with online tools. And that's what really Education 2.0 is, for the most part. It's not going to work for us to flatten it. And for the most part, Education 2.0 is still very human resource, you know what I'm saying, high. So you still need a lot of people. Now, the opportunity here is, as we think about what education is, the opportunity is to put education in the hands of the individual, and the hands of the parents, and the hands of the community, and so on, and pretty much allow the individual, the parents, the community to define, in many respects, the needs. And for the most part, this can be done with a learning engine. And what is a learning engine? Well, it's funny, because if you go to Wikipedia and you look up learning engine, there's nothing there. And I actually try to do a blip. And I'm not going to waste my time And here's an example where Wikipedia fails. Now, because learning engine is now a cutting edge idea, and actually it isn't that cutting edge, because Cerigo has been around for over 10 years, and they have a patented learning engine from I think 2000. But most people fail to understand the implications and the need of a learning engine. And a learning engine is just this. A learning engine is an engine, just like a search engine, that interacts with the individual in such a way that it knows what the individual is capable of learning through algorithms and everything else. It knows when to push content to them. It knows the type of content to push them, and it knows how to retest them to ensure that they know that content. So in essence, what a learning engine is going to do, or will do in the future, is pretty much replace most of what a teacher does. Now, the good news is we have a rudimentary engine, and that's the Cerigo learning engine, and there's probably others out there. But this is the one that's free. It's not open source, but it's free and available for you to use, and as long as your content's free, you can actually plug into their APIs, and it's pretty easy. And people, and I would agree with teachers, education is kind of like saying egg. How are you going to cook an egg? There are many ways to cook an egg, and in many respects, education is very broad, and there are specific goals within education, and really the rudimentary goal, and this is being discussed right now in higher education, especially with science, because the way we educate people with science is we waste all this time, all this human manpower teaching, memorizing and teaching kind of what we call learning objects. Now, all of this learning object teaching can be done via learning engines autonomously and outside of the classroom. And that's my point. Now, and that is how teachers are going to change in the future. So as we redefine what education is, which we will with mobile learning, we have the hardware. You just look at the Consumer Electronics Show that just happened in Vegas. We have, it's mobile, handheld, tablets. All of this stuff is finally becoming accepted. So, the reality is we have all the parts. And I'm going to continue to talk here, but since I can only upload 10 minutes on YouTube, I'm going to cut it here, and then I'll pick up to continue this. If I can find the off button.